day, round number 9 here from Pittsburgh. An interesting little pairing here is these players on the left are 7-1, while the team on the right is 6-2, so a little pair down action. Bad luck for the team on the left. We'll see if the team on the right there, and Skarren, Ingram, and Rubin, can win this match and advance into day number 2. It was a joy watching Steve play earlier. And actually, I'll be honest, even though this Hogak deck is very, very good and arguably broken, it is actually weirdly fun to watch play.
Yeah, I mean, so you know what's a great thing about this deck? It gets it over with.
That's true.
In contrast to the deck on the left, which is an excruciating spin of materials and manipulating cards between zones to trigger things that care about you manipulating material through zones.
A Kevin Jones special if there ever were one.
Yeah.
Kevin Jones, we should change his name from the daddy to the manipulator of material.
Yeah, it's just Serum Vision and just look at some cards and then, you know.
Thought scour some of those cards away.
Maybe, or maybe wait, because you might want to draw one but not the other. And if that's the case, which one do you believe you are more likely to want to draw? That one goes on the top.
Lot to think about.
Lot to consider as the clock tick, 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 ticks on down.
Faithless looting here from Steve. He'll be drawing 2 and discarding 2 here momentarily.
You know what? If a deck's going to be way over the line, have it just kill someone.
Just bulldoze someone.
Just get it over with.
Well, that's what this Bridgevine deck does do. It looks like Steve is going to consult with Peter.
I cannot tolerate any more Manamorphose and then stare at my hands. Think about the permutations of cards I could draw and redraws that I have that may want me to make blue-blue versus red-blue versus red-red. And perhaps if Surgical Extraction is in my deck and my life total is at odds, perhaps I want to float a black in the off chance that I draw a Surgical Extraction, or at least bluff the possibility of drawing Surgical Extraction if I don't think the colored mana matters very much. I'm off of that too.
More interested in lava spiking you.
Yeah.
Bridge from Below and Bloodghast will be placed into the graveyard. Thought Scour is going to target Mark here. Lava Dart among the cards that have been found. Got to think about everything that involves that card.
Yeah, that's going to influence whether or not you want to fetch an island or a steam vents.
and now Serum Visions. You know what people, what people don't know is that at some point earlier this week, I think you were like, "Hey man, kind of got interested in doing all the shows next year. You sure you want to, Serum Visions guy?
I'm in.
You sure?
I'm in. Just as the feeling washes out of my body through my feet onto the floor.
Another Thought Scour.
And just describing the act of cards moving around between zones and then a new card popping into the person's hand that presents 74% of the decision they had last time with 26% of an adjacent decision.
That's correct.
That's correct.
You want a year of that?
Yeah, I do.
Here's an Altered Dementia.
Get him, Steve.
Yeah. We're going to go over to Mark now for some more manipulation of material.
Can you please play a game object that advances the game?
Well, hold on.
Nope.
Sleight of hand. He's looking for one.
Yeah.
He's trying to find one. I think he's going to try again. Thought Scour.
Mm-hmm.
Thing in the Ice Mountain. They're headed to the graveyard. A nice mountain.
Yeah. Island nice too.
And now Faithless Looting.
Uh-oh, here we go.
There's got to be some Phoenixes in that hand by now.
Berserker time.
Yep, there we
go.
There they are.
There we go.
Now, all kidding aside, Mark has done a lot of cantripping here. We got to do a check for main deck Surgical Extractions.
Yes, allow me. Allow me. 2.
Okay.
Yep. A lot of flex slots here. 2 Finale Promise, 2 Sinkholes, 2 Surgicals, 2 Lava Darts, 2 Aria Flames.
Okay.
Yeah, so got a lot of looks at a Surgical too.
You have to imagine. Well, he doesn't. There's no guarantee he's found one. Pardon me, but I think that if Steve is thinking about this game correctly, he's probably thinking, "I will try to play around it."
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see it right now because it's so likely you target Bridge from Below anyway, and why give him the free looks?
Well, Steve is going to try.
Okay.
And there is Surgical, so that's not much of a surprise to me.
Right.
With all the manipulation that took place. Taking care of the Bridge from Below is very smart here by Mark. Makes it so that Steve can't go off so easily this turn. And truthfully, we don't have a great look at Steve's hand right now, so we don't have a huge idea of what he's working with. Well, now we'll get a better look. It's a lot of Vengevines, along with an Insolent Neonate and a Polluted Delta. So,
yeah, this hand does not amount to very much anymore.
And there may be a Hogak hiding out in the hand as well. But Steve wanted to start by sacrificing Bloodghast to alter Dementia, milling himself for a couple of cards and making a zombie and going that way. But this Surgical Extraction has certainly broken that up. Mark Kelley, cool, calm, and collected in the chair as he's taking care of all of these bridges from below. There they go.
Really good setup here from Kelley. Not inconceivable to win the game next turn if he can come up with 4 points. And now Rubin with not a whole lot going on.
Well, we are still on, I believe, Steve's third turn right now. So let's see what he can put together here now that his bridges are gone. Insolent Neonate is not a bad place to start. Keep in mind this is creature number 1 for the Vengevines that are in Steve's hand, assuming he can ever actually get to do anything with them. He'll discard Vengevine. He'll get to draw a card. He found a Faithless Looting that I am... Actually, he can cast. Because he has a land in his hand that he has not deployed yet, I believe, in Polluted Delta.
Although Polluted Delta, if he's unable to win the game this turn, if he breaks a Polluted Delta for a Blood Crypt, he falls to 7, and then he dies to a mountain that enables a Lava Dart in the graveyard or any burn spell.
It's a very good call. Steve's going to play that fetch land and get back the Bloodghast.
I mean, for right now, he can just keep going if he wants to with Altar and Bloodghast and hope to set up a better spot. Because I don't think it's acceptable to knock yourself down to 1 on the table and not win the game this turn. That's just a dead end.
Yeah, the fetch for Blood Crypt brings you down to 7. The 2 Phoenixes knock you down to 1.
And then you're dead to a mountain or any burn spell, and Kelley's looked at 20 extra cards this game that he sifted through. So,
and all Steve's going to do actually is pass the turn back over to Mark.
Yeah, the hope here is you can fetch a Blood Crypt tapped at the end of the turn, if there is another turn, and then maybe survive if Kelley doesn't have Lightning Bolt, and then go from there.
So is it just that easy to beat this Bridgevine deck sometimes? A Timely Surgical and Arclight Phoenix?
It's part of the reason I've had success with the Prowess strategy is just a fast clock with Surgical. It forces them to play into it if you're actually pressuring them a little bit. And Rubin's draw was not the most explosive. So one of the surprising things about this deck is actually how modest Faithless Looting is as an opening.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not a bad card, obviously. You're going to play it, but it is a little slow. It's not like Faithless Looting on turn 1 with Dredge.
No, or even this deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Discarding a couple cards here is Mark. He's going to come in here for 6, knock him down to 4. I'd be shocked if he didn't have a Bolt. Again, he's got to see so many cards. There's your Bolt. Here comes your Lava Dart. Looks like we're all done in this game, folks. And he didn't forget about the dart that's in the graveyard. So, Mark Kelley going to win that one pretty easily over Steve Rubin. Up a game here is it Phoenix. Takes the lead over Bridgevine.
Yo, shout out Beta Basics. Shout out Judgment Lava Dart. Here for all of it.
And you know what? I'm gonna be honest. I like the glasses too. Yeah. Actually, I like both players' glasses, but I like Mark's more. It's a good look for him. It's a good look for him.
Yeah, it's very well constructed.
It's all well put together. Yeah, the whole thing.
There's an intentionality to it that I really appreciate.
We'll start with Steve's sideboard here. He's got 4 Leyline of the Void, 4 Wear Tear, 3 Crypt Breakers, 3 Fatal Push, and a Seasoned Pyromancer. We watched him play this matchup earlier in the day. Talked about the sideboarding then. He brought in Crypt Breaker last time.
Yeah, I think the expectation here is that you bring in Crypt Breaker in any matchup where you think that they're not going to be heavy on creature removal and where your graveyard may not be good. We also saw him bring in the Fatal Pushes as well, which makes sense because Thing in the Ice is one of the more problematic cards from the other side.
Though it didn't show up that game.
No.
And Mark did totally fine. He's got 4 ley lines, does Mark, along with 2 Spell Pierce, 2 Narset, 2 Force Negation, 2 Blood Moon, 2 Abrades, and a solo copy of Anger of the Gods.
Love the 4 copies of Leyline, and I'm also into Force of Negation in this matchup. I think if you tag one of their key opening spells, a lot of their hands kind of dead end, and you have a lot of wiggle room with the creature removal that really doesn't line up the right way. You have a lot of cards you can cut.
Well, those are the options there for both players. Game number 2 will be underway here in just a moment. Do want to note really quickly, Peter Ingram, he did win game number 1 over Joseph Horton in the exact same matchup. So tied up as far as games are concerned. We'll find out more about Joshua Satterfield and Frank the Tank in a moment here. But let's talk about a little Pervana, shall we? Core Set 2020, as you've probably become aware if you've been watching this broadcast at all, is coming out very, very soon. And as we oftentimes do here at Star City Games, we've got an exclusive playmat available at participating stores. This one is called Pervana, based off of one of Todd Anderson's cats. And if you do want to get this playmat, you got to find a store that's going to have it. That's why you can go to go.starcitygames.com/pre-release. This pre-release is going to be here next weekend already, June 6th and the 7th.
Yeah, how long ago was Modern Horizons pre-release?
I actually couldn't have been
SCG
longer.
Con, right?
You were playing it in the room, weren't you?
Yeah, I was doing the
That
drafts.
was a month ago.
Less.
That was less than a
was
month ago.
June.
Yeah.
It was in June.
Yeah, jeez. Another pre-release. Core Set 2020 looks pretty cool. Get yourself a Pervana playmat. Learn those locations over at go.starcitygames.com/pre-release. Frank Skarren, he won game number 1 with Is It Phoenix over Joshua Satterfield playing humans. We're going to watch game number 2 here of this in just a moment. We will, of course, jump around to the best of our ability. But while we try to figure out some things here, we got to do a Core Set 2020 preview.
Talk to me.
I'm going to let the people at home choose, which is very dangerous.
How are you?
They're going to tweet at me, and I'm going to do the first one that we haven't done yet from the tweets. So
All right, this is your chance. Be fast about it and use the hashtag, because Cedric's into that.
Yeah, it's me.
SCGPITT.
There it is. You're really big into hashtags,
Find
too.
other enthusiasts with which to discuss your preferred preview card.
You know what the term is? It's called join the conversation.
Join the conversation.
There you go.
That's what you call it when you shout with strangers on the internet. Conversation.
Todd just tweeted at me and said, my cat's name is Jaeger. That's not a preview card, Todd. And you didn't use the hashtag. I think the instructions were pretty simple.
Put him in Twitter timeout.
Yeah,
report it. Report that tweet. Report it.
It's an act of violence.
Yeah, report
I'm gonna
that.
block him.
I'm gonna report that tweet.
Yeah, okay,
Hold
good.
on. I mean, I'm gonna try to.
Also, he had the audacity to put how to pronounce Jaeger in quotations. Like, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Hold on.
The tweet is one thing. The pronunciation is just another. You're being reported by Patrick right now, Todd. This is no joke. You better delete that tweet quick. Noah, we are not doing pacifism. Stop it. Ooh, now I like this one by Jason Chandler. I'm into that. Jason, you win. I'm not going to tell anyone what it is, but you followed all the directions. You used the hashtag. You picked a card we haven't used yet. We haven't reviewed yet, pardon me. So, Jason Chandler, you win. That tweet has been reported.
Yeah, as offensive or abusive.
Yes. Sorry, Todd. You didn't follow the rules. See you soon at one of these shows, though. You're going to pay for that later. Uh-oh, what do you say?
Please talk about the preview card that I want to play the most.
Got him.
Yeah.
Looks like Mark is going to take a mulligan here.
The pronunciation guide is abusive and offensive.
Yeah, I'm offended.
But we'll let the fine folks over at Twitter make that call.
That's
ultimately,
true.
Todd.
They, that's like the most polite thing Todd has ever tweeted.
I know. Yeah. It's just,
He's a total roller coaster on Twitter. And this...
abusive. That's an abusive.
This is the one.
I don't know how else you would describe it. Like how else would you describe that tweet?
Everyone's liking the tweet now.
Get some more visibility.
Couple of retweets coming in.
You might, you You might not think of me as a social media guru, but I have my moments.
See if Mark can find a better hand. As these players will be given the green light here in just a moment. It looks like he's going to do a little scrying. You know what?
What's up?
This is the last term we're going to cover here with the Vancouver Mulligan.
Oh, yeah.
Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
We're going, oh, wow, hello.
That's right.
Force of negation, see you, and it's exiled. See you, faithless looting.
Yep.
I'm into force of negation, by the way.
I am too.
I like
think
that card.
I think it's done. It's force of will done the right way.
Yeah, I'm into that card. This is an insolent neonate. Going to sacrifice this. What's going to go to the graveyard along with it? All right, Vengevine. Is there another creature to be played here for Steve? Untapped Blood Crypt leads me to believe the answer is yes. Well, time to get back Vengevine. Bang.
Bang. Bang, bang.
Pretty good turn. Turn 2, 4-3 with haste. Ooh, 2 things in the ice are going to go to the graveyard. Now we head back to Mark for his second turn. A Serum Visions. Manipulation of material.
That's great.
Split the difference on the scry.
Man, when I report a tweet, Twitter hides it from me. That's really annoying.
That's brutal. It's brutal. You have to talk to the powers that be.
No, you don't understand. It's a joke. I'm just trying to annoy a dear friend. I'm not really trying. I'm not really trying to report it.
Yeah. I hope they message you and ask for like a multiple paragraph explanation.
Oh no, it was just funny to me. Yeah. That's all.
Here's an attack for 5.
Todd's all right, you know. It's not, you know.
We got another carrion feeder, a bloodstained mire, and a passing of the turn. Be a good time, good-ish time for Anger of the Gods. Not the best time. Here's Thought Scour.
Yeah, you would sack it. I mean, it wouldn't be bad.
It would clear everything up. Wouldn't kill Vengevine forever. Here's another Faithless Looting. Might be time for a couple Arclight Phoenixes to head to the graveyard. And see, this is the other side, the kind of draws that Bridgevine can have, based around Vengevine. You know, over the years that we've done coverage, we've seen a lot of players try to build a Bridgevine deck, and it's just been a little too inconsistent. This seems like the pretty clearly most consistent version of the deck.
Yeah. Well, the part of it is how multi-dimensional it is. We're seeing the deck win through Graveyard Hate, even without access to its graveyard some amount of the time. The fact that you can combo kill outside of the attack step is a big thing, too.
Yeah.
You can't just lock this deck out with Ensnaring Bridge or Worship or some weirdo like that. And the angles of attack, you know, you got to be able to stop draws like this where you just get run down by creatures with very little opportunity to respond by interacting with their graveyard.
On turn 2, you got a 4-power creature coming at you. That's no joke. We see Arclight Phoenix decks do that with just Arclight Phoenix, and, you know, 3 is obviously less than 4, and that's plenty good.
Right.
All right, here's another Carrion Feeder. 3. Uh-oh, it's a bit, you got to do, oh boy. When you start tapping the creatures Convoke, it's like kind of a giveaway.
Yeah, but also, you know, what are they going to do about it?
3. Okay, so is he okay, he's attacking. All right. I like that shift. It was just me trying to attack, not play Hogak, which you can't do right now anyway.
And now the window is closed for Anger of the Gods. This
Correct.
is a separate, you know, Rubin gets to turn something into a 4/4. Everything's in the graveyard still.
Fiery Islet is the land. This is a thing in the ice. 4 ice counters on that. We'll get a big die on there in just a moment. I know our table spotter will take care of it because he's been excellent all weekend long. Now we head back over to Steve Rubin. Draw step incoming. Didn't get a great look at it. We know he's got Vengevine and Hogak in hand. This is a deck that cannot hardcast Vengevine, but I think that's okay. Thinking about playing some sort of 1-mana spell here. This Okay. I don't mind a Crypt Breaker right now. There might be a response to Crypt Breaker. Yeah. Might be time to try to get some of these carrion feeders off the battlefield.
Yeah,
if you can.
I mean, yeah, it's not the best use of resources. It's also just mana neutral on any sort of Hogak interaction too, because them being on the battlefield versus in the graveyard is the same thing.
Looks like the Crypt Breaker will resolve. Steve is going to draw a card. Another copy of Hogak. That's not ideal. Here comes Vengevine, and here comes Carrion Feeder. So this will be a lightning bolt. And it looks like it's going to go at the Vengevine. So Carrion Feeder is going to become a 2/2.
And this is presenting lethal.
Got to pay mana for that bolt. There we go. Let's make sure I'm not losing my mind. This is presenting lethal. Now my question is, do you make a move here with Carrion Feeder?
For sure. I mean, last card has to be Lightning Bolt. And at that point, Kelley's empty-handed. And with a Thing of the Ice on 2, that's not a bad position to be in. Just seems like the range on his hand can be way more varied if you allow Thing of the Ice to survive, if in a way that allows him to come back. Because another Lightning Bolt doesn't even do anything here, because you play over the top of it. You're basically looking at the Sinkhole as the one way to get out from under this.
Yeah, Magmatic is a card you have to think about.
But I think this is just too good of a spot. There's one card that's really bad for you versus the whole deck could be bad for you if you allow Thing in the Ice to survive.
I think that's a smart play there by Steve. Just has to maybe figure out what cards he wants to sacrifice. Went with the Carrion Feeders, left himself with the Crypt Breaker.
I mean, it's risky. I know that that goes bad some amount of the time, but I think the alternative is he untaps. He has 2 cantrips in his hand, and your battlefield gets picked up.
Going to flashback Faithless Looting now. We'll mark. So it'll be drawing 2 and discarding 2. Lava Dart Phoenix. Thought Scour. Draw a card. I mean, Dart's not a bad find. You get to sack something, kill the Crypt Breaker, get back the Phoenix. Yeah, of course, sacrifice the Crypt Breaker to the Carrion Feeder. So now the Carrion Feeder is a 5/5. Now you've got 2 Phoenixes. You can start attacking with one of them. We didn't get a great look at what he drew, but if he happened to draw a Magmatic, that would be a good draw. A little surprised to see no attack there, though.
Well, you're just chump blocking otherwise. This way you might actually pull ahead.
I like this play by Steve. Get a Hogak on the battlefield. Basically take a turn off to get a Hogak on the battlefield and present something that's, well, I guess you get to do that too.
Yeah,
Jeez.
it's not taking a turn off.
Never mind.
Didn't take
I always think of Bloodghast being coming back from the graveyard. He just cast it and then played Hogak, and now Vengevine comes back. That's a heck of a turn. Jeez. Boy, this deck is a lot sometimes.
Yeah. So many different dimensions to it.
No attack there from Steve.
No reason to allow Mark to trade off and then spin together enough cantrips to be able to get it back on the house.
Yep.
Just go for it next turn.
Sacrifice a Fiery Islet. And Kelley's going to pack it in. So we are all tied up here between Mark Kelley and Steve Rubin. Really well played game there by Steve in the early stages, of course, just pretty automatic with the Vengevine, but then figuring out a great way to balance things.
Yep.
So it looks like Frank Tank has won his match. Is it Phoenix versus Humans over Joshua Satterfield? So What do you think? We think we stay here, or we go to the middle seat and watch old Peter Ingram battle?
It's literally the same decks, but whatever. Let's go over.
All right, let's go to Peter. We'll hold Steven's match. We'll go to Peter.
Let them sideboard, you know.
And then if we've got time to jump back over to Steve, we'll do that. If Joseph Horton wins, we go back to the Rubin versus Kelley match. If Peter Ingram wins, we're done, see. So there you go. And for everyone wondering at home, the Core Set 2020 card we'll be going over is Bag of Holding.
Cool. Who's our winner?
Jason Chandler.
Congratulations.
Picked that one. So we'll be doing that at the end of the round. Good day of Magic here. I was really, I figured we'd have some fun coming in, and maybe a little skeptical about how things would look. It could be a total bloodbath. We've actually watched a lot of good games, even when we weren't in the booth, and we were kind of in the feature match area, kind of helping spot and everything. Those games were even good that I was watching.
So I don't think the Hogak deck is sustainable on power level, and there's all sorts of problems with incentives and, et cetera, et cetera. It produces better games than Is It Phoenix.
Yeah.
There are more.
Do you think it's maybe because we're tired of Is It Phoenix or no?
No, it's for Serum Vision, for Sleight of Hand, for Opt, for Faithless Looting. It's just that.
Sure.
It's the cards just replacing themselves and not advancing the game state. The decisions that the Bridgevine deck is making is advancing the game state, is bringing the game towards a conclusion. That is the difference.
How much better do you think the Bridgevine deck gets with London Mulligan?
Definitely better.
Probably a lot, right? I mean, a lot's probably strong, but it gets better.
Well, it's, so this deck definitely has some dredge elements where you're firing out of your graveyard and you don't really care about what's in your hand and whatever. It's not as so extreme as dredge where you just mulligan to 3 and don't care. It's not like that.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, a deck like this that has, cards that are so good in its opening hand and cards that you're trying to avoid, it's going to leverage that mulligan better than most normal decks, but I don't think it'll do it the same way that Dredge does, or Tron. I think those decks exploit that mulligan system much more powerfully.
Tell you what, you do if they do elect to ban Faithless Looting, it sure does put a real loop into the format. I mean, it shakes it up on its head.
Yeah,
quite a bit.
It would be a very different world.
Yeah. And with that Mythic Championship coming up, maybe that's what they want to do. I don't know. We got to make it through the rest of these rounds here first, and that means starting with this third game between Joseph Horton and Peter Ingram. Ingram going to start things off with a Blood Crypt via a Bloodstained Mire. That's why he's at 17, and we'll see if it's going to be maybe a Stitcher Supplier for once. We haven't seen much of that. There, that's a Crypt Breaker, actually. Okay. Joseph Horton just going to play a Steam Vents and pass the turn back. Frank, Peter, and Steven, they're going to team up now. There's a Swamp, and just a passing of the turn. Crypt Breaker is pretty flexible, of course, because it can make zombies and help you start to build your graveyard, as there's a Thing in the Ice, a very important card there for Joseph Horton to have. Bloodghast will go to the graveyard. A zombie will enter the battlefield. It's Justin Parnell from Commander Versus fame. We go back over to Peter Ingram. He's chatting with his buddy Steve Rubin, both playing Bridgevine here this weekend. They like to get this match over and done with since Frank has already done his job. This will be a Stitcher Supplier. There's one of the all-stars of the deck. Top 3 cards are headed to the graveyard. Bloodstained Mire, Faithless Looting, and Big Trouble. Big Trouble in Hogak.
Oh, with a Lightning Axe, too. For the full...
Big Trouble.
For the full Nutter Butters.
Yeah. What do you think? You think I cast this Lightning Axe and just destroy him, Steve? Yeah. Let's draw a card first, though, maybe. Maybe we get Hogak on the battlefield first. Nice.
Oh, yeah, so we do, okay.
Yeah. Or do we Lightning Axe it first and then use that? Use the cards from the Lightning Axe and the discard.
Yeah, I mean, there's a question, I guess, if you want to try to bleed out Horton's turn.
Well, that's in the graveyard.
Casting a bunch of spells. I don't know. Something can go wrong if your axe is countered, and nothing can really go wrong from this spot without Thingy Ice.
I mean, I think I would axe on my main phase. I don't know what card I would discard, because there's a Delta and a Faithless Looting in hand, but I feel like you're probably supposed to kill that on your main phase.
I guess you could. Do you want to do it on Horton's upkeep to play around
Force negation?
Yeah.
All right, that makes some sense to me.
Yep.
Okay. That's the decision the team comes to on the upkeep to play around that brand new counterspell.
This opens you up to, there's some mixture of Manamorphoses and blue spells that could trigger it here, but probably less likely than just there's a Force of Negation.
Yeah, it's got to be, the perfect 4 cards or close
Double
to it.
Manamorphose into 2 Thought Scour type effects.
Or free spells. Surgical or something works itself into the equation.
Yeah.
Gut Shot, potentially Lava Dart with Flashback, because that's 2 spells. I mean, if Mark is thinking about this, it leads me to believe that he might have some way to actually transform this or get close.
Well, if he has a Manamorphose, then
Joseph, sorry.
If he's got a Manamorphose, then he's certainly got draws to it if he doesn't have it right now. And it's so good for you if you hit, and so bad for you if Thing in the Ice dies that, I don't know.
It might be worth it.
Even if you have to spike another Manamorphose right off the top, it might be worth going for it.
I think he has Manamorphose in his hand. He was thinking about casting it.
We'll see what the follow-up is here, but if it is not exceptional, then I would have gone for it. I mean, the odds of winning the game from this position seem so low to me. I guess if you have another copy of Thing in the Ice and the material to definitely transform next turn, I could be talked into it.
Here's Sleight of Hand. We'll move around a little bit of material here. Horton has found his selection. Let's see what comes next. All right, there's the Manamorphose. Not so much of a surprise there. Figured he had it in his hand, given how much he was thinking on the upkeep. Another Sleight of Hand with a mana floating. Now Faithless Looting. Well, be a good time to find a couple copies of Arclight, Phoenix. At least one Phoenix coming back. And it's going to hang back on D. I don't know how effectively, but it's going to hang back on D.
I mean, not great, but knocking Ingram down to 14 here is not worth a whole lot.
Ingram can start by attacking. He can draw a card with Crypt Breaker and the other 2 zombies. I think getting there with Hogak is kind of the easy part. Get your 8 points of damage. Can't believe it's 8. But get your 8 points of damage through. Horton's going to fall down to 11. And now the 3 of them have a real decision to make here, because Crypt Breaker activation is, that's multiple things. You can use them to draw a card. You can activate Crypt Breaker to make a zombie, which it looks like it's going to be the latter, not the former. Discarding Faithless Looting, that puts you 2/2 on the battlefield. You can draw a card now. You can wait.
Yeah.
Looks like they're going to wait.
Yeah, I think that what they want to do here is make sure that there's not an opportunity for Horton to respond to the Crypt Breaker activation with a removal spell. So do this now. Make sure that you have 3 zombies, and at the end of Horton's turn, you can draw your card.
Skarren Visions to start here for Mark. He needs a good one. Okay. I don't know if that's a sarcastic smile or not. He looks sort of happy. Both cards going to go to the bottom. Mountain. Is this anger? It's Faithless Looting from the graveyard. Okay.
Not as good.
No. See, this is one of those spots where anger wouldn't be bad. It's not ideal.
Still an 8/8, and you're down your Phoenix.
Yeah. I mean, it lets you clear up all the other garbage that's out there. Then maybe you can figure out a way to beat the 8/8. It's not saying that's an easy task. And now there's a Surgical Extraction that can be played, but it's notable that Surgical brings Joseph from 11 to 9.
Yep.
On target Lightning Axe, not sure you're going to find many more of those.
But it would be game over if Ingram drew one, so I guess you might as well. He doesn't have the mana to flash back the looting anyway. I mean, it's still lethal coming across here,
It
right?
should be, right?
Quite a bit.
You get a Phoenix back. You're able to block 2 of the 2/2s. You're still going to take 8, 9, 10 by my math. Because, of course, Hogak has Trample, so you're not going to get any work done there. Also, I don't even think he remembered to return the Phoenix, and that is going to do it. So, Frank Skarren, Peter Ingram, and Steve Rubin are going to win this game and match over Joshua Satterfield, Joseph Horton, and Mark C. Kelley.